Good morning, my friends. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic. My name is Mike Avery here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. That's why that thing behind me right there, because I'm here in the studio getting ready to put together, to produce this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, heard on 32 AM and FM stations across the great state of Michigan. The show also available as a podcast anywhere that you get your podcasts from, including my website, my Facebook page. We even put it on YouTube, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but, people watch/listen to it on YouTube. So I like to get it out there in as many platforms, on as many platforms, as many destinations, cyber destinations as possible, so as many people can listen to the content of the show as they possibly can. Welcome, by the way, to the month of December. How did it get to be December? How was your Thanksgiving, by the way? I hope it was a good one. Not seeing any comments yet, which is kind of freaking me out here a little bit. Normally, I would see comments by now, and I did have a little bit of a problem. Let me check my phone to see if indeed, because I'm not getting any comments at all. Let me just see if, because on my end, there we go. But why am I not? Are you commenting, my friends? Because I'm not seeing them. What is Scott telling me? You see comments on Facebook. Okay. Scott is seeing comments. Boom, boom, boom. Why am I not seeing any comments? Let me pull up my phone and see if Brent says, I know lots of, but I can't see them. People are commenting, but I can't see them. Ed said, let me see if I can pull them up on my phone. Because people and my buddies are sending me texts saying, oh, yeah, there's comments. So what I'm going to do is watch them on my phone. There we go. And turn the volume down. Believe me, you don't even know what half the technical problems are here in the studio this morning. Our phone lines are down. Now, that wouldn't be why I'm not seeing comments on my feed here. Dave, good morning. Kevin, good morning. John, good morning. How are you? Yeah, so I'm Cliff. Good morning. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the comments down on my phone. Travis is with us. I can't see you now, Vince, but I see your comments. Good morning. Johnny, how are you? So if I'm a little behind your comments in my response, good morning, Walt, I apologize. But one of those mornings, I think, the phone lines are down here. And actually, you know how we're going to have to do the entire radio show? Somebody asked what day it is. I'm going to have to use the speaker on my cell phone and put it up against a microphone. And that's how we're going to have to do this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. Crazy, huh? But we'll make the most of it. Mike had a great Thanksgiving. Marty checking in. Cindy is. By the way, somebody asked me, Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. Now, last time I did that, I blew out the audio on Instagram, so I'm not going live on Instagram this morning. Daryl's checking in from White River. Good morning, John. Always great show content. Good morning from Ohio. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. Lori's with us. Dave is with us. Martin's with us. All right. So everybody's on with us. I'm seeing the comments. I just can't see them on my iPad. So what's on my list? Hey, Ross. Good morning, buddy. How are you? Ross, I miss you. I don't want to be too weird or anything, but Ross, we used to see each other a lot. We haven't seen each other much lately. That's got to end. And Ross, I fully expect you will be joining us in Ohio next year to hunt with Bill Piles, right? Terry says it's his wife's birthday along with Hump Day. Well, happy birthday, Mrs. Krawczyk. How is it December? Exactly. How did it get to be December? Steve is checking in with us this morning, too. Appreciate that. Would like to be a deer in western Houghton County and know that been wandering all over in a wolf track. Would hate to be a deer. Yeah, because you killed them all, Jeff. Good morning, Randy. Randy. The bay's on fire right now. My son James was out there Monday with some buddies. They got a quick 3-man limit. Johnny says he misses Ross too. Probably time to head downstate. You're a very missable guy, Ross. Headed out to help a buddy track when he hit last night. All right, Mike. Good luck. Eric checking in from Sheboygan this morning. You can hear the show in Sheboygan on Big Country Gold, WCBY, AM and FM. Danny's checking in. Bill's with us. Brent says Bill Piles does a great job. He did for you, didn't he, Brent? Ross says, I'm worried about this COVID crap. I had the... Oh, yeah. Another wolf hunt. Yeah. Isn't it funny? You know, I don't want to get too far off track here, but the sky is falling. The sky is falling because of this new variant, right? This morning, on the air, maybe I did. All right. Muzzleloader season, 2 days. All right. I'm going to make a quick text here, folks. Yeah, again, because we're no, I said 9. That was a problem. Oh, I sent him an email.
Yeah.
I said 10:45. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. It just hit me when I was.
Carl, disregard that earlier email period. Make it 9:45, please. Yeah. I got a email from Charlie Rood this morning. He says, hey, the phone lines are down in the studio. I'm like, whoa, how do you do a radio show if the phone lines are down? Well, we figured out a way to do it. I am surrounded by very sharp people here.
Where?
Pat says, where? Where are they? Bernie, expecting a big buck to walk out into my backyard this because they have a couple of days off. But they don't really have a couple of days off because bow season is open again now. Ed says, who's on the show this week? Well, geez, Ed, thanks for asking. Captain Mark Pananzek checks in from Saginaw Bay. As I say, the fishery out there is on fire. Good morning, Craig. How are you, buddy? Christmas gift for deer hunters out there. Toby's watching. Then Carl Yider of the Yider Insurance Group. In hour number 2, Paul Schlafly checks in live from the Manistee River where he's fishing for steelhead. Nick Green of MUCC checks in from Lansing. This week's Ask Avery segment deals with a couple of deer hunting topics. One of them talking about an early muzzleloader season during October next year. Is that going to happen? And the second one is, can you use your 450 or 350 during muzzleloader season in the southern part of the state? Actually, this year in Zone 3, you can use anything. You probably use a 50 cal if you could get it out there. And in hour number 3, Richard P. Smith checks in from the UP, and of course, wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Miner as well. Mary, good morning. How are you? Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic. My name is Mike Avery, so it's actually a mic behind the mics, plural. People say, why do you have 2 mics in front of you? Why do you have 2 broadcast quality microphones in front of you? One is the social media mic, and one is the broadcast mic. And once we get into the show, I'll switch over to just the broadcast mic. Tonight on Wednesday Night Live, I think I just saw Mark come on here right now. Good morning, John. How are you? Tonight on Wednesday Night Live, we'll give away another ham for the holidays, courtesy of our friends at Michigan Brand Meats. Darcy's with us. Curtis is with us. Curtis, I haven't seen you for a while, buddy. How have you been? Jerry's with us. Nice to have you with us in Marlette. And Tim as well. Jerry's late to the party. He says, Mike, what day is it? I will indulge you again, Mike. Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. There, got that out of my system. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Tom. Pleasure to have you along with us. I will do this again tonight for another edition of Wednesday Night Live from my studio at the house. Ross says we need to meet for lunch sometime. Maybe the Lumberjack. I'd love that, Ross. I'd love that. What I'd really love to do is get the Wednesday Night Lives back in progress at the Lumberjack restaurant. Let's just say there have been talks and negotiations along that line. Hey, Chris, how are things in Kansas this morning? Okay, so it got to be December. Good morning, Lori. Get Emil to join us, of course. Martin, How are you, my friend? Oh, I have since we last talked, I have been out hunting again with my dart and crossbow, even though it was the firearm season. I know. Hey, at least I'm not using my recurve this year. Talk about tying your hands. Last year, during the month of December, I was trying to shoot a doe with my recurve. That never happened. But I still want to shoot one with my crossbow. Good morning, Jeff. Nice to have you along with us. So last time I was out, I wanted to sit over a food plot, but the wind was not right. You're rifle hunting in Kansas now. Biggest buck I ever shot, Chris, was with a 270 in Kansas. John says, Mike, what day is it? I'm not going to do it a third time. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. John says, people are complaining about being able to use a gun and muzzleloader season. Personally, he likes his 450. Hear about that elk that Gabe will have. Yeah. Gabe's an interesting guy, isn't he? Gabe Van Warmer, who was on the show last week. Brad says he loves the Wednesday Night Live get-togethers. I do as well. They're actually a lot of fun for me. I do enjoy them. So anyway, I wanted to sit over a food plot the last time I was out, but the wind was wrong. So I ended up sitting in a tree stand in a spot that earlier in the season had a lot of oaks. Still got oaks. Had a lot of acorns. Had a lot of acorns. Walleye that are being caught in the bay are big and a mix of males and females. Fun if you can get out. And Scott would know because he was out in the Angler Quest. Oh my gosh. Chris just saw a 9-point about 150 inches. Shoot him. What outfitter did I go with in Kansas? I went with Ed Barton of B&C Kansas Hunts. Highly recommend him. Good guy. Good morning, Jim. So I ended up sitting on a spot that used to have acorns. Oh, I thought that I heard the game. I thought Pat's teasing me with the Michigan game again. Post a picture of that Kansas buck sometime on your social media. I'll do that, Mike. In fact, maybe I'll do it today if I think of it. Hunter Joe says, bring on the ice. Will you enjoy that ice, Joe? The only ice I want to be around is the ice in my Maker's Mark after my Wednesday Night Live tonight. I'm just not an ice fisherman. Let me finish my story about my last hunt. Not that it was a great story. Sitting in a spot, it's kind of a pinch point between a pasture and some wetlands. So the deer tend to move through there even when there aren't acorns on the ground. Wind was perfect. It was cold. Cold. Kind of a blustery day, and the wind was right in my face, and I had high hopes that a big doe was going to walk in front of me. Doug, how are things in Cincinnati? Good morning, Daryl. Had about a 3.5-hour hunt, which, believe me, by the end of the night was all I wanted to be out there, as cold as it was. Only saw one fawn. Wasn't even a button buck. It was a doe fawn. Came in, milled around, and wandered off. And that was all I saw. Good morning, Bear. Bear LeClaire, I've told you I love your name. I wish my name was Bear. Bear Avery. That'd be kind of cool. Tim says, amen on the ice in the Maker's Mark. And a nice Arturo Fuente. Ross took a local vet out. Great story to tell you about this. Oh, wonderful. Lately, I've been smoking Drew Estates Fat Bottom Betty's. Great cigar. I love that cigar, but they're a little bit expensive. They're like $10 a piece. And as many as I smoke, I don't want to be smoking $10 cigars because that adds up real fast. I could go to a cheaper cigar, but then I wouldn't enjoy them as much and I wouldn't smoke as many. My name would be Bear Panda or Panda Avery. My bear name would be Panda. Tim says, that's a great cigar. Dennis says it's his favorite cigar. Hello, Mark. How are you doing? How have you been? We got a couple of cigar smokers in here. I appreciate that. Cigar with a Maker's Mark. I used to do that. The Sweet Baby Janes are good too, Tim says. Or the Sweet Janes. I used to, in the summertime after my Wednesday Night Lives, when it was still light out and still warm, I'd go back on the patio and smoke a cigar and have my Maker's Mark there. Now it's a little dark and a little bit too cold to do that. And as much as I like cigars, I won't smoke them in the house. Good morning, Gary. Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic. So, I'm not done deer hunting, but I will admit Padron 5000s, never had one. I will admit that my interest in deer hunting for this season is quickly waning. I would love to do the Makers Distillery tour at the in Kansas or Kentucky. I'll take him, Ed. Yeah, I'd love to, Ed. What I need, Ed, I need a cigar sponsor. Have I ever smoked a Cuban? Yes. And I think they're overrated. And a lot of the Cubans we smoke here in the States are not actually Cubans, they're knockoffs. The only really good Cuban I've had was a gift from Scott Gatza, and that was a genuine Cuban cigar, and it was excellent. But the other so-called Cubans I've had have not been good cigars. I just did not enjoy them. Good morning, Joe. Nice to have you along. Joe Mary, what a great name for this Christmas season. Steve, appreciate you being along with us. My interest in deer hunting for the season is rapidly waning. I don't enjoy deer hunting enough to stay that excited over the course of a 4-month season or 3-month season or whatever it is. I feel sorry for Michigan deer. As Jeff Hammond was saying earlier, I feel very sorry for Michigan UP deer because they have several things to deal with. Loss of habitat. There's no deer yards. There aren't the number of deer yards there used to be. Dominican. See, Ed, I love Dominican cigars. My favorite cigars are from the Dominican. I love that. I'd love to try them, Ed. In the UP, the deer are dealing with loss of habitat, i.e. deer yards. They're dealing with occasionally a very tough winter, which makes it hard for them in some parts of the state in certain years. And they're dealing with wolf predation in general. They're always looking over their shoulder. And then for a few weeks a year, they got hunters to worry about as well. Got it, Pat. Good morning, Lance. How are you, buddy? Lance Valentine of Teaching Fishing. I think I've finally broken my habit, Lance, of saying Lance Valentine of Walleye 101. I think I've now convinced myself that it's Lance Valentine of Teaching Fishing, teachingfishing.com. But man, we hunt deer. We hunt deer 3.5 months a year. I would hate to be a Michigan deer. Starting out with the youth hunt and the independence hunt, which I am fans of them both. Now this muzzleloader season, you can't really call it a muzzleloader season anymore, can you? In the southern part of the state, it's a straight up firearm season. It's just changed so much. Honestly, if I could just do nothing but hunt bear, I would do it. And I should have a bear tag in the UP this year and be able to hunt with Johnny Bowler. And I'm going back to Slow Down 2 towards the end of the season. And you regretted it as soon as it ends, John. I get that. Doug says our deer just have to stay alive over 25% of the year. All right, Ross, go sell some trucks. But I am doing a hunt in White River in August, and I'm looking for a springtime hunt now. Chris offered me a Saskatchewan hunt last week. That's just a long way to drive. I'd like to get back to Quebec and do a springtime hunt there. People say, will we ever have a Michigan springtime bear hunt? I don't think so. I don't believe so. What else? I talked about Saginaw Bay walleye being on fire right now. In fact, after the break, my first guest this week will be Captain Mark Pananzek of Real Fishing. He's been out there on the bay. We'll see how he's been up to. I told you my son's been out there. Just phenomenal fishing. 17 feet of water straight out of Linwood Beach Marina. Wolves are the problem. Winters are not an issue. Okay, Raber Bay, you would have a much better idea of that than I would. Will they ever go back to muzzleloaders in Zone 3 again? I don't know, Jim. You know what, Jim? That's an excellent question. It's like Pandora's box, or once you let the cat out of the box, or whatever you want to say. Once you let people start to do something legally and encourage it, it's really hard to take it away from them, right? How do you let people hunt with a 30-06 during the so-called muzzleloader season 1 year, and then next year tell them, no, you got to go back to a muzzleloader? I don't know. It's a very good point. I hadn't actually thought of that, but that's an excellent point. I don't know the answer, but I would suspect that it'll be a while before that happens again. Ham for the holidays. Tonight, we'll give away another ham for the holidays on Wednesday Night Live. A couple of promos. Next Thursday night, if you're in Michigan, if you're out in the Thumb, I'm the featured guest. I'm a featured speaker at the Thumb Area Hunters Dinner. That's Thursday evening in Bad Axe. Love to have you join us. What do you think about a flintlock season like PA? I think, Tim, the old so-called primitive seasons are gone in today's world. I don't see them. I don't see them coming back.
30 seconds. This is just
30 seconds. Okay. Also, want to let you know too. If you got a hunter on your list, a great Christmas present would be anything from Primal. The Descender, the Wraith 270, and you can get them at a deep discount. If you go to outdoorpregame.com, use the promo code Mike20, or if you go to primaltreestands.com, use the promo code Avery, deep discounts. All right, Pat's telling me in 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Okay. I have to start the radio show, so I'm going to not interact with you directly as I have been. And I'm going to concentrate more on this microphone, not this microphone. And we will work our way through this show without phone lines using my cell. But I'm sure it'll be all right. Have a great day. Hope to see you tonight, Wednesday Night Live, 7 o'clock Eastern, on all of my social media outlets, including Instagram. I'll go live to Instagram tonight as well. And of course, I got a frog in my throat just before I have to start. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network. So glad to have you along with us on 32 stations across the great state of Michigan. You know, you hear these shows talking about, they got hundreds and hundreds of affiliates, but those are national shows. What show do you know of here in Michigan that has 32 different AM or FM stations, AM and FM stations that carry the show? I think that's wonderful, and I have you to thank for it. It's because you have an interest in the outdoors. You express that interest to your local radio station, and the powers that be there, the program director or whoever, decides, yes, we do want an outdoor show on our air on the weekend. But that does make sense here in our state, right? We have this long-standing history and tradition of this outdoor lifestyle that is, it's not unique to Michigan because there are other states that share this heritage, but I'm not sure anybody has a stronger heritage, has more interest, has more people involved, has more natural resources, more Great Lakes coastline, more inland lakes, more public land, more critters. It's a great place to live. And every once in a while, I have to remind myself of this. I don't have to remind myself. It comes to the surface. I've been blessed to hunt and fish all over the place, not only all across North America, you know, not just the United States, but North America, Africa. And I come back to Michigan. There's just so much to offer here. Is it perfect? Is everything unicorns and good smelling stuff? No. But man, it's pretty darn good here. And by the way, welcome to the month of December. And how did that happen? We were just starting the month of Rocktober. No, we were just enjoying the 4th of July. And now it's December already. Which means the late deer seasons are in effect now. Muzzleloader season, although can you really even call it that anymore? The late archery season. I think there's some late special doe seasons in some part of the state. I can't even keep track of them anymore, honestly. And to be honest, I don't even try. There are so many different seasons and rules and regulations and things to keep track of that I only worry about. And this is a mistake on my part, I know, because I should be more well-versed in all of these things. But I tend to look at the area that I'm going to be hunting and make sure that what I'm doing in that area is legal, and I don't worry too much about anything else. I'm just going to stay legal. And I'm going to trust that you're going to look at the regulations and rules, and you're going to stay legal too. I have been out since we last talked. And again, this was during the firearm season. Sitting in a tree with my dart and crossbow. I know. Avery, why do you do that? I don't know. I just like it. I had wanted to sit on a food plot that had several big does coming in. And that's what I'm looking for, is a big doe. But I couldn't get in there because the wind wasn't right. It was a cold, blustery day, west-northwest wind, pretty strong wind. But there was another stand I could sit in that would be perfect. So I got into that, and this is an area that earlier in the fall had a lot of acorns on the ground. Now they're gone, of course, but the deer are still filtering through there. I don't know if they're still looking for the occasional acorn or if it's because it's kind of a funnel between a pasture to the north and some real wet. It's not a wetland, but it's flooded timber to the south of me. So they tend to work their way through there. Very, very cold day. Wind was perfect. Conditions were perfect. And I thought, I'm going to shoot that big doe tonight. I mean, I had it all planned out, and maybe that's what the problem was. Ended up seeing just one fawn all night. And not even a goofy little stupid button buck. It was a doe fawn. Wasn't going to shoot her, of course. I was looking for her mama. Her mama never showed up. And we'll see. I'm not done yet, but I do have to admit my interest in this deer season is rapidly waning. I have gotten back to the point where I like hunting deer. Can I say I'm passionate about it? Do I absolutely love it? No. I like it. Do I like it enough to stay out there over the course of a 3-month season or more? I don't know. I would not want to be a whitetail in Michigan. They got a lot of things working against them. You know, of course, there's the CWD and the TB and the EHD, you know, all those letter diseases that are a negative factor. But you look at the UP, loss of habitat, deer yards. Once in a while, you get a bad winter that's hard on them. Wolves, predation. And then you've got hunters out there 3.5 months a year after them. The southern part of the state, we don't have the wolves. We got everything else. We got hunters out there almost 4 months a year chasing these critters. You know, I realize we have to do it. It's a wildlife management issue. It's a population control issue. It's got to be done. But I just don't have the passion for deer hunting that allows me to stay out there for 3.5 months hunting 2 to 3 times a week, especially once it gets cold. And I realize in that late season, when it gets cold, if you can find a food source or a food plot, it can be very, very effective. I will be back out again, but I don't have that many more sits left in me for this season. I know Avery's a big sissy. Okay. All right. Now, if I could hunt bears 4 months a year, I'd be out there every day. I could be. That's a different ballgame. And this year, I mentioned this a couple of minutes ago about the muzzleloader season. Remember when the remember when the muzzleloader season used to be considered a primitive season, and we had flintlocks and we had percussion caps, and that's what we hunted with during the muzzleloader season. And then we got real fancy, and we got the inline muzzleloaders, which were much more accurate, much more reliable, much more dependable. And then we came up with these powders that weren't as corrosive, so you didn't have to worry about having the powder eat up your gun if you didn't clean it every time you shot it. And back in the old days, if you were a muzzleloader, a muzzleloading hunter, a muzzleloader, you were pretty hardcore. You were committed to it. What do we have this year in the southern part of the state? We still have a muzzleloader season, but you can use any legal method. You can take your 450 out there. You can take your 350 out there. And it's because the department wants to knock down the number of deer in much of the state, the southern part of the state especially. Coming up in our second hour, there's a question during the Ask Avery segment about a couple of questions actually about deer management. And we will get to those. But is there a topic that causes more? Well, here in Michigan, if you want to get a conversation, a heated conversation going, what do? You can talk about politics, you can talk about religion, and you can talk about deer management. Those are the three things that in our state people get passionate and heated and vocal about. And just like in politics and just like in religion, in deer management, there's no way you come out ahead of that conversation, that argument, because people have strong feelings all the way around. Let's see. We're continuing our ham for the holidays, courtesy of my friends from Michigan Brand Meat. Great company, michiganbrand.net, michiganbrand.net. By the way, if you go to that website, you can use the promo code Mike21, I think. Get a big discount there. But every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern on my Wednesday Night Live, which goes on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Now through the first of the year, we will give away a ham for the holidays. All you have to do is watch and comment, and you could win. And with Christmas just around the corner here now, too. And how did that happen? Once again, I mentioned this last week, but I want to follow up on it. The folks at Primal Tree Stands have put together some very, very deep discounts. You can take advantage of those online. If you go to the website, outdoorpregame.com, and use the promo code Mike20, you can get deep discounts on anything there. Great Christmas gift ideas. And if you go to the Primal Tree Stands website, primaltreestands.com, and use the promo code Avery, you can get everything on that website at a discount, including that Wraith 270 see-through ground blind that I love so much for $199 and change. What a great, great Christmas gift that is. Coming up after the break here on the Outdoor Magazine Show, we're going to check in with Captain Mark Panonzek of Real Fishing out on Saginaw Bay to follow up on this great late-season fishery. Carol Yiter of the Yiter Insurance Group reminds us how to take care of and insure our valuables. And then in hour number 2, Paul Schlafly checks in live from the Manistee River. Nick Green of MUCC. And in hour number 3, we'll check in with Richard P. Smith. And, of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire, Dave Miner. My name is Mike Avery. The website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. And the email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I would invite you to check them out, take advantage, get in touch with me. Lots coming up right here on Outdoor Magazine. All right, my friends, I got to go. We got to switch some things around. And I'll talk to you tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live.